If you don't know, well, welcome to my channel. First of all, of course, I'll introduce. My name is Jocelyn Marie. I go by Joe. And I really like telling stories. Because a lot of my stories, I'm not going to lie, I have some wild stories. Now, of course, I am new in Christ. I'm not talking about, the crazy times. No. That's not what this is about. I want to improve my storytelling. And I was like, what better way than to do my first story on the porch while I'm crocheting? Like, it's giving a vibe, a whole vibe. I'm totally down for it. And it's spring. Spring has sprung, and I think it's just time. I'm talking about when I literally graduated Carolina, UNC Chapel Hill. There's only one Carolina, by the way. But UNC Chapel Hill with, I was about to say 3 degrees, child. No, I graduated with 2 degrees, actually. Yeah, so I graduated in 3 years. That's what it was. 3 years from Carolina, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, while also being a Division I student athlete. I was on the basketball team. I was a women's basketball player as well. And not gonna lie, that 3rd year at Carolina, it was madness. I overloaded my first semester with 21 credit hours. They were like, Joe, they were saying, like, Jen, shout out to Jen. She really trusted me. My coaches were looking at me like, Jocelyn, how are you going to graduate this year? I'm graduating in 3 years. I told them once I tore my Achilles, my freshman year of college, I said I need to finish school early so I can get more school paid for. That's where my mind was. Not even going to lie. So Jen was always supportive of that. They always looked at me like I was crazy. And every year I had to keep proving them that, hey, I am crazy. Just proved them. I proved them right. I'm not going to lie. I proved them right. Jen was definitely like, Joe, you have to take, this is how many credit hours you have, because I was a double major in philosophy and women gender studies. And I was close. I was very close, but it would have meant that I had to overload in both semesters. As a student athlete, that was just not heard of. They were looking at me like I was crazy, and I'm like, well, I am. So next question. I took 21 credit hours in the fall and 19 credit hours in the spring. Madness, madmen. I was motivated. This was also my 2nd year coming back from my injury. And I was also motivated because I wanted to transfer, that I had to have a great showing. This is honestly our best year too. The Lord was favoring me that whole year. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, by the way, I'm making a blanket. Crocheting a blanket. If you're like, what is she doing? Crocheting a blanket. Oh yeah. This was one of our best years as a basketball program as well. I was playing more consistently. So I was playing. So it wasn't your girl was riding that pond, so I had all the time. No. I was active. I worked out extra because I had to stay in shape. My coaches did not want me to stay out of shape, especially after coming back from an injury like I did. I had a lot of issues coming back at first. So maintaining shape was the biggest thing. So I was like, okay, cool. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what y'all need me to do. I can do that. My coaches were not a fan of me overloading. That fall semester, heavy grind, because we're in preseason, mind you. Preseason, they had us running the mile. I said, there's no way I'm running this mile. The way my body already is, you want me to run a mile? No. Mind you, I run miles now for warm-up for my workouts, and it's just so funny like how things come full circle. Anyways, I was just trying to find a way to get around everything. I was not trying to run that mile, and my body was not, that was a whole thing. We had a lot of injuries, and we're like, we cannot do this mile, but we had to. That was our test. I did not pass that test. When I tell you I did not pass that test, every time we ran it, I was walking it. I'm not gonna lie, I was walking it, because I'm not re-injuring myself, because we still have to play. While this is going on, I was vegan. And I was eating potato chips and Oreos. I turned off my hunger cues. This is all in preseason. My hunger cues, all while taking 21 credit hours. Yeah. I was not feeling my body at all. At all. It got to the point where I passed out during one of our testing, and it was terrible. It was bad. I passed out. I had a conversation with my therapist. I then had a conversation with my nutritionist. They're like, Joe, you gotta eat. I said, I'm not even hungry anymore. I don't even think about being hungry. That's what I was dealing with. But I was still making sure I was going to class. Because if you don't know what a FA means on your transcript, I had one of those big bad boys on my transcript. Yeah, failed attempt. Didn't even show up for the final. Stopped going to class my freshman year. I just didn't show up for the exam. I was like, well, I'm going to fail the class. And they were like, Joe, you still had to go to the exam. I said, why nobody tell me that? Because I didn't tell nobody that I wasn't going to go to the final exam. Like, it was going to be like a live thing. I'm like, like, I'm not going to take my final exam. Didn't even show up. So that's what was showing my transcript. I had to bust my BUTT because I also was motivated to finish out with a 3.0. I'm like, this is embarrassing. How do I say academics matter to me and I'm below a 3.0? So that first semester of, that was 2018 and 2019 year, I got Dean's List. I said, I have to get all A's. I have to bump my GPA up. I don't know what it was at first, but I had to bump that GPA up. I was about to say, I don't know what happened. It was God. I'm going to give him the credit, so I'm going to tell it. It was God who really got me through that first semester, because I was not feeling myself at all. I was up late, and I was still partying, by the way. Was not missing out on a party. And if I partied, I had to do extra workouts. I got to do double, I do 2-a-days. So body was ran down. We started playing. I wasn't starting, but I really, for me, that didn't really mean much, because I'm an impact player. So when I go in, I'm going to play, boom, bam, hey, let's get the W. That's all that matters for me. It did bother me at first, not gonna lie, but then after I got over that, I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to win and graduate so I can get up out of here. Like, I knew once they said how many hours that it was possible for me to graduate, I'm up out of here. That fall semester was why, oh my gosh, there's so much that happened in this year was actually crazy. 2018, 2019 at Carolina. A time was had, because I was on adrenaline, because I could not think through how I was going to get through 21 credit hours, how I was going to fuel my body and maintain court time, practice, all of that. ACC is no joke. And how Coach Hatchell was determined to get to the tournament, which we did, by the way. Coach Hatchell was determined. That's all I got to say about that. So that fall semester was a time, because I think soccer and field hockey won national championship, I believe. I just remember I was going to a soccer game. I was going to all soccer games. Our soccer team was doing good. Our field hockey team was doing good. Football, I don't recall football much, but was going to the games, but that was about it. Fall, we got through fall. I mean, they wanted to put me in tutoring. I said, I don't need tutoring. I just need to get my work done. And that's what I did. I went to work. Looking back on it, I'm like, God, what? The fact that I thought that was the strength of me, that was God. I had the favor of the Lord on my life. There was no way I had no business doing all that. Because I was hooping, my minutes, baby, when I tell you, I did what I had to do and got Dean's List. Wasn't even aiming for Dean's List. I'm like, I just need to get my GPA up. That's all that matters. I'm just trying to get my GPA up and get these credits so I can graduate. There was an incident that happened over that winter break that we were like, this is wild. There's no way this just happened. And me, I'm thinking, I gotta say, we gonna say something, we gonna do something about it. Then I spoke up, said something about it. So now I'm being Angela Davis, I'm being Einstein, and I'm hooping. It was a whole lot. It was a whole lot that was going on that year was a whole lot that was going on that year. Because I think also that year, I spoke about my bipolar. Like we had our first, I did a TED Talk about being bipolar. I was in everything. I was volunteering up the street at a local elementary school on Fridays because I had, this was in the spring, so now we're fast forward to spring. I had Fridays off. I had 19 credit hours, but still have Fridays off because I said, no, like, I need a day. Because I knew 9 times out of 10, we were gonna have Fridays off from basketball. So I just wanted to have that, I just wanted to have the weekend if I could. So I would volunteer in the morning because volunteering really helped me. I volunteered so much that year. That kept me grounded. I might not have been in church, but I was in the community just trying to give back. Once again, it has been nothing but the Lord who was keeping me. I was also in a relationship. I was like just getting serious in the relationship that I was in. And I was just happy. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I'm sorry, that last year, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, this is gonna be the best year ever. I'm cruising, like, I'm about to graduate. It's spring, I'm almost done. Try not to get too far ahead of myself because, you know, the goal is to still make the tournament. Like, that was the goal. And so, dude, let's go out with a bang. Hey, we might all be transferring, but we're gonna go out with a bang. That was really cool, I would have to say. How we definitely came together. We beat Notre Dame that year. It was lit. It was lit that year. When we beat Notre Dame, our parties were jumping. Like, women's basketball in Carolina, it felt like it again. Like, for the past 2 years, it really was off. It wasn't how it historically has been because of dealing with the NCAA stuff. Carolina just be doing whatever. Then I started having just aches with my body, pains, not injuries because I was still playing, but I was playing injured. I was definitely playing injured, but I was like, no, like we gotta go out with a bang. ACC tournament comes, child. When I tell y'all, I was wearing a boot during the day, and then we'd have a game, and then I would get, I don't know what kind of shot it was, but I would get a shot before the game. Sometimes even during halftime, they would shoot me up, and I'll play. During the ACC tournament, because we played Pitt, I remember this. Or was it? No, it wasn't Pitt. It was either Pitt or Georgia Tech. I don't remember. But that first game, I was in so much pain. But I was like, hey, this ain't worse than tearing my Achilles, so come on, let's go. Like, that's how my mindset was. Hey, I can definitely get through this. If that game was the determining game of whether or not we would get, a bid for the tournament. So we had to win the first game. It was like the most intense first round game of the ACC ever, the ACC tournament ever. And we was hooping. I was playing in a way. I think I almost had a double-double. When I went in, it was like I was on the bike. If I wasn't playing, I was on the bike because I had to stay warm because, baby, once that ankle, because it was my ankle, tore my Achilles in my right ankle, but my left ankle was giving me so many issues, and I was like, I had to keep staying warm. I was going so hard. I'm like, we gotta win. And we won, and we were lit. And then we had played in Notre Dame the next day, and I played again. We lost. Another good game. Meanwhile, all of this, I want to tell you, like, I was flourishing. Like, I was happy. I thought I was on cloud nine because I was hooping well. I was almost done with school. My skin was clear. I had my edges. I had a man. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I didn't even care about the tournament anymore. But we went. So we went to the tournament and we went to Waco, Texas. Was it Waco? Wherever, Baylor? I think that's where Waco, Texas is. Down, we had no chance. Our team was hurting so bad. Half of us were in some type of either a boot or some type of sling or something. We were getting extra. We had no business. We were on E. Our bodies were that ran down, not even gonna lie. So we just played. I think we played Cal. Cal or UCLA. Lost. It was like whatever. I was like, hey, at least I can say I made it. Like, that's what it was for me for basketball. Especially once I tore my Achilles, I was like, there go my chances of playing pro. I'm not gonna go play overseas. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm gonna get my money, I'm gonna get my degrees and go because I'm leaving here with something. So once we get back from the NCAA tournament, I'm like head down focused on just finishing school. What is crazy is that I remember this clearly. I was taking a linguistics class as a philosophy major and he was not putting grades in. I had no clue what I had in that class, but I told you I was trying to stay. I think I had a 3.2 after getting Dean's List. In the fall, I was at a 3.2. I said I will not allow my GPA to fall. There's no way. I'm trying to get into grad schools. I'm like, I have to stay over a 3.0. I was kicking myself in the foot because, is that even a saying? I don't know, but I just use it. I was upset because I was really mad at myself on my first year because I just did not care about school at all. That's gonna have to be a whole nother story time. I was just very upset that I allowed my grades to drop that way, that I was busting my bootay to stay over to maintain my 3.2. And this linguistics class, I have no clue. I definitely learned something because just of my understanding of languages now, I can say I've retained all that information, absolutely. I'm telling you, I'm going to this man's office hours. I don't know what's going on in the class. This was one of the hardest classes I took in philosophy. I'm not even gonna lie. One of the hardest classes I ever took. And I was just upset because I said, there's no way that this is going to be the class that I don't graduate. And that's exactly what I said. So I was going to see that man as much as I needed to make sure that I got an A. No, I thought I was failing the class, not gonna lie. And I ended up getting a B, and I have no clue where. Because in philosophy, you don't take tests in philosophy. So you write. I remember I was writing this paper, and it was one of my final projects for that class. He told me I had to keep making edits. I said, oh my goodness, I'm just trying my best. Philosophy is a very hard degree, especially at a liberal arts school like Carolina. They was not just gonna let anybody just walk up out of there with a degree. I swear that's how I felt. But baby, when I say I got that bachelor arts in philosophy, I definitely did. What I would say is that God kept me. God kept me. Not even gonna lie, he kept me. He made sure no hurt, harm, or danger came over me, because that year I was so high functioning and not feeling my body in a way that you would have been like, Joe, you need to go to sleep. Like, you need to rest. You need to make sure you take care of it. I was not taking care of myself at all. Fast forward to graduation. That last week, that LDOC, baby, when I found out I passed and I was actually graduating Carolina in 3 years with 2 degrees, I said, wow, did I give God credit? No, I did not. That's why I'm like, God, thank you for your hand and your favor, because instead of being grateful for the blessing that just happened on, dang near a miracle. I was out partying, laying waste to my liver, and that's all I gotta say. I did not even enjoy my graduation, I'm gonna lie. They didn't call my name during my philosophy graduation, and I tried to make a joke. Like, fortunately, I had a bad habit. I had to catch myself even of this recently, that I would make jokes through my pain, and I made a joke because they didn't call me. Well, I guess they don't count if you get double degrees, huh? I guess they don't count it. That was so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed, and I was like, there's no way they forgot you. There's no way they forgot you. Obviously, they call you in alphabetical order. So when they got over J, I said, not they forgot about me. Not they forgot about me. And they did. Then the Women in Gender Studies graduation, that was what it was. I just did not enjoy it. I looked fly, I took my pictures, I didn't really like my pictures. I didn't like graduation since my high school graduation, and I didn't take photos at all. I don't have any professional photos of me graduating at Carolina. The only photos I have are the pictures that my parents took on their phone. That's literally all, because I did not care. I was so concerned about leaving Carolina that I just did not care. Now, in terms of the favor I had leading up to graduation, I did skip over this. Leading up to graduation, we have what's called the Rammies, which is our closeout, like our sports awards of the year. Since I had already set out, put my name in the portal, transferring, already visiting schools by now, I was like, I'm not going to the Rammies. Corey, who's our volunteer coordinator, well, she was in charge of like our volunteer stuff. She's like, no, JoJo, like, you should definitely come. And I'm like, why? Like, everyone in Laudermilk, because that was like the only place I was going. If I was in a gym, I was in Laudermilk. They're like, no, you should go. I said, I'm not an athlete here anymore. I don't care. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm just trying to get my papers and go. I'm trying to get my papers and go. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I showed up looking good, looking fly. I had a fresh blowout. Hair was healthy. I had a nice little hang time. So I go and I was like, hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And it turned out I got a whole award. It was the top 6 for service award because of how many volunteer hours. So essentially, 6 athletes across the entire ACC get nominated, or who are awarded this award for giving back to the community. And if you remember in the story, I would volunteer every Friday. Like, I was volunteering, especially once season was over, almost twice a week. And I was doing so much on campus, just volunteering, helping out. And I didn't even know. When I said, like, I had no clue that I wasn't keeping track of my hours. I didn't even know that was an award, that was a thing. So for me to get it, I was like, so I received the ACC Top 6 for Service Award in that last year. I said, wow, I'm still leaving. But it was cool. It was definitely cool because serving in my community definitely always helped my mental health. always. And it was, like I said, such a blessing. I had so many blessings that year and did not give credit to the Lord. And so this is my way of doing it. I gotta give God credit, so I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell the story. I just look forward to sharing more about how just God's hand has been over my life in so many ways that I've missed it. And that was one of the Holy Spirit reminded me of that entire year. So I just wanted to share that. I just want to share. Comments, let me know what your favorite part of the story was. If you were in school with me, like, what were your thoughts? I want to see what other people's perspectives were on this story, because that was a time, that last year, I had fun. It was a lot of emotions, but I enjoyed it. And I look forward to telling the story. Thank you for coming to my channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like and comment. Make sure you comment on this video. And yeah, I'll see you next time for story time. Peace. Oh, you see the blanket? Hey, y'all saw me. I was. Bye, y'all.